Okay, we're back, guys. We're going on to the middle of the trifold here. I hope that you actually were able to use what I did before and were able to type it in. Make sure that whatever you're typing in, when you get the correct answer, that you're adding it into your brochure. So now over here, I've told you that the 3 or the 4, the exponent is telling you how many spots to move. It's also going to tell you to what power. So to write this, 10 to the third is really 10 times 10 times 10. The 3 indicates that there are 3 tens. So that means the bottom one, if you follow the same pattern as the bottom one, you should get 10 times 10 times 10 times 10. Okay, if we look at the following here, we know that 10 to the third is 10 times 10 times 10, and 10 to the fourth is 10 times 10 times 10 times 10. But now it wants it in exponential form. And so it's going to be a power of 10 because they all have a baseline of 10 right here. And this where is the exponent, to find the exponent that you're going to put, all you're going to do is count your zeros. And how many zeros are here? 2. Because think about it, 10 times 10, doesn't that equal 100? So let's follow the pattern again. How many zeros do I have here? I have 3, indicating that it is to the power of 10. And it's still the power of 10, even though it's 100 times 100. But now you're going to count your zeros. And you have 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros. So this is 10 to the fourth. Part 3, write 10 to the second power as a product of tens. Find the product. Write 10 to the second power. That looks vaguely familiar. 10 to the second power as a product of 10. So it wants me to write 10 to the, part A is write 10 to the second power. Or 10 times 10. And find the product. We know that product means answer to a multiplication table. And 10 times 10 equals, if I follow my same rule, I have to add 2 zeros. Okay, flip open to the middle section. You're going to have to turn it a little bit. It wants you to finish the pattern. So let's look what the pattern is. You have 0.005. How many zeros do you have here? 2, right? After the decimal. You have 2 zeros after the decimal. How many zeros do you have after the decimal? 1. So if I continue that pattern, how many zeros am I going to have? None, right? So I'm basically getting rid of it. So my answer is going to be 0. I still have a decimal here. I'm just going to be getting rid of one of those zeros. I got rid of this middle one, just like I got rid of those. And then basically, if you'll notice, I'm taking this decimal and I'm moving it to what direction? And I'm just moving it one direction to get me here, one direction to the right to get me here, another one to get me to 5, because 5 point anything, it's still the same as 5. Now I'm going to have to move it again, same direction. What do you notice that we have to do here? You can't leave this empty. I have to add a 0. So now I'm at 50. And right here's my decimal, and I'm going to add it one more spot to the right, meaning it is now 500. Explain the pattern of zeros and how, there's 2 hows here, you place the decimal place. Which way did we move? So you can write that. We moved our decimal to the, which way? Right. Why? Why did we move it to the right? Because what we are doing what? When we move it to the right, we are multiplying each time. Please make sure if you need to pause it to copy it down that you can. I'm going to keep moving. But remember, you can always pause it. You just can't skip any parts, but you can pause it. Part 6 and 7 here, once again, they're doing the exact same patterns. You'll notice that this is 165,000, and then we go to 1,600. So it looks like we're dividing up here. And I have to get my decimal to this spot right here for this one to be the answer. So in order for me to do that, looks like I'm dividing by 2. 1, 2 gets me this answer here. So that means if my decimal is now here, and if this divided by 10 to the second, then I'm going to have to divide this by 10 to the second. 1, 2, giving me and then let's see if this would equal up to the right number. And then I would have to divide this by 10 to the power of second again, getting me 0.165. Just because there's no 0 here does not mean that that's not there. It can be. Just like here, it can be 16.5 instead of 0.50. It's okay to add a 0 in this spot, but it's not okay to add a 0 in other spots. And explain the pattern of zeros and how you place the decimal. So just like up here, we moved, so we can start off the same way. We moved our decimal to the left because we were dividing, by this time we have to actually add more because we were multiplying by 10 here, but we were dividing by 10 to the second power each time. Once again, you can always pause me to make sure that you have it recorded. So if you didn't understand anything, go back and pause me. Okay, I'm going to my middle flap, so if I fold my one flap in, and it says select the statement that is equivalent, meaning equal, to multiply 10 to the second power. Are we adding 10 2 times? We're doing 10 plus 10. Multiplying 10 2 times. Multiplying by 2 10 times. Or adding 2 10 times. So our answer can only be B. Please make sure you have it circled and you have approached